morning, dear students, and welcome to today's session. In this particular session, we are going to continue with our discussion of the play The Tempest, Act 1, Scene 2. And to be more precise, we will be doing from line number 404 to 442. Now, already we were discussing that part where Prospero and Caliban are conversing with each other, and this is the part where we are introduced to Caliban, who is used to do all sorts of menial tasks by Prospero. In the last class, we discussed that how Caliban, he complains that he was the master of the island and the island belonged to him because it was given to him by his mother Sycorax. But Prospero, he took away the island from his mother, and when Prospero had come to the island for the first time, he used to stroke and caresses and show his affection for Caliban. He used to treat Caliban in a proper way by giving him water with berries in it. And Caliban admits that Prospero taught him how to name the bigger light and the lesser light. And it was during that time that Caliban used to love Prospero. And he showed all the features of the island to Prospero. He showed him the fresh ponds, he showed him the springs, he showed him the barren areas and the fertile fields of the island. But then Prospero took away the island from Caliban and made Caliban merely a slave. So he says that may a curse fall upon him for having served Prospero in that manner, and he also curses Prospero for taking away everything from Caliban and for confining him in the rock like a pig that is confined in a pig sty. So we will be continuing from this particular part. Now here Prospero, in reply to Caliban, he says, "Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness." Okay. So he tells Caliban that he is a rogue only, and he also feels, Prospero feels, that Caliban is such a rogue, such a filthy slave, that only severe beating can move him to do something. He cannot be moved in any ways by kindness. "I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care." He also says that Caliban is a worthless and hateful wretch whom Prospero has treated with kindness. And he expresses his indignation at Caliban by saying that he is a wicked slave. Abhorred slave means a wicked slave, a vile slave. And Caliban's nature is incapable of being shaped into anything good, though his capacity for evil is unlimited. So Caliban is such a wicked slave, and his nature is incapable of being shaped into anything good, though Caliban has an unlimited capacity for doing evil. He is capable of all ill. "I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other." So here Prospero means to say that when he came to that island, he took pity on the condition of Caliban. When he saw that Caliban is a savage, He took pity on him and tried to civilize him, tried to culture him. He took great pains to teach Caliban how to speak. He taught him one thing or the other all the time. When thou didst not savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing more brutish. So it was a time when Caliban was a savage and he did not know human language. He used to utter gibberish sounds resembling the cries of animals. It was brutish, it was just like the sound of animals. It is during that particular moment that Prospero took pains and taught Caliban the words to express his needs. He taught him human language, he taught him how to interact with the human beings and how to make use of words to express his needs. So all these efforts were made by Prospero in order to make Caliban a refined being, in order to civilize him and tame him. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. But it is the foul race of Caliban. The foul race of Caliban is such that though Prospero tried to make him learn, tried to make him teach, and in spite of the fact that no good man would tolerate such a creature in his company, but it was because of the vile race of Caliban that he could not benefit himself from those teachings of Prospero. Therefore was thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison. Therefore Prospero says that for this reason Caliban has justly been imprisoned in this rock, although Prospero feels that he deserved a greater punishment than this confinement. He should have been put in a prison instead of asking him to dwell in a rock. Now at this Caliban, he says, you taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. He admits that Prospero has taught him human language, and the only benefit that Caliban had got from that human language is that he has learned how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language. The red plague means here, red plague means leprosy. Rid you means he again makes use of that language which is taught to him by Prospero to curse Prospero. He says that the only benefit from the language that he has learned from Prospero is that he has learned how to curse, and then he curses Prospero. He says that may leprosy destroy you for teaching him his language. Then Prospero feels annoyed. He says, hag seed, hence, fetch us in fuel. Hag seed means the son of a witch. Okay. Go, he gets annoyed and shouts at Caliban, asking him to go away from there. And he addresses Caliban as the son of a witch and says, fetch. He instructs Caliban to fetch them some more fuel wood. Thou art best to answer other business. Okay, he says that he should be better ready also to do some other task, some other menial task. Shruggest thou malice? Okay. Shruggest thou malice means when Caliban was ordered, he shrugged his shoulders at the orders of Prospero. And that is the reason why Prospero raises this question. that how dare you shrug your shoulders at my orders, you wicked creature. And he warns Caliban that if Caliban disobeys his orders, then Prospero will make him suffer from cramps. You know, cramps, rheumatic pain, okay, muscle pain. So he warns Caliban that if he disobeys his orders, then he will make Caliban suffer from cramps. He will fill his bones with such aches or pains that he would roar in pain, and the beast, the animals living in that island, will tremble with the fear on hearing his groans. Then Caliban subsides. He stops arguing at once. Why? Because Caliban is aware of the power of Prospero. And he begins to beg, no, pray thee, I pray you. Means Caliban begs that he prays to Prospero that Prospero should not do so, should not make him suffer from cramps, should not make his bones ache. Okay. He fears that punishment. And in an aside, he says, I must obey. His art is of such power, it would control my dam's god Setebos and make a vassal of him. So here, Setebos is the patron of Caliban's mother Sycorax. So Caliban explains the power of Prospero, and Caliban is aware of the magical power of Prospero. He knows that the magic of Prospero is so powerful that it can even control Setebos, who is his mother's patron, and can reduce Setebos to a vassal. To a vassal means to a servant. So if it can control even Setebos, then Caliban is just merely a creature. So he feels that he must obey Prospero if he does not want to be punished. So Prospero, so slave hence. So slave hence means go away now and start doing your work. So Caliban exits to carry out the orders of Prospero. Just then, Ariel re-enters into the stage, and this time he is invisible, playing and singing some music, whereas Ferdinand, the son of King Naples, he is following Ariel. Actually, Prospero had instructed in the year of Ariel that he must bring Ferdinand to one particular corner of that island, and that is the reason why Ferdinand is brought to that island. Ferdinand follows the song of Ariel, and that is how Ariel manages to bring Ferdinand to one part of the island. So let us see what Ariel was singing. So Ariel's song, come unto these yellow sands and then take hands. Okay, so Ariel is inviting Ferdinand, asking him to come into these yellow sands. To come into these yellow sands means a particular part on the shore of that island. Okay, come to that yellow sands and then join hands for a dance. Okay, he's asking Ferdinand to join hands for a dance. Curtsied when you have and kissed the wild waves whist, footed featly here and there. Okay. So when Ferdinand has bowed before the wild waves and kissed them into silence. Now the storm is over, the tempest is over, the waves in the sea are subsided, they have become silent. Now he tells Ferdinand that there is no more worry for him. He must bow before he has bowed down before the waves are bowed down, and the waves are kissed into silence. So therefore Ferdinand should dance away gracefully here and there, means keeping his feet here and there. And sweet sprites the burden bear, hark, hark. Okay. And let the sweet spirits that dwell in the island take up the refrain. Let the sweet spirits join the chorus. Okay, so he invites the other spirits to join the chorus, and hark, hark, listen, listen, listen to the chorus. Okay. And there is the chorus being sung by the other spirits. The chorus is Bow Wow, is the chorus of the song, and that chorus is heard coming from different directions, which bewilders Ferdinand. Ferdinand is unable to make out, and he feels that there is some unnatural thing in that island, and the song that he was hearing, that was coming from all different directions, and he was not able to see anyone because Ariel was in an invisible form. The watchdogs bark. Okay. And then again the chorus is heard coming from different directions. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer cry cock-a-doodle-doo. The strutting strain means here the crowing, strutting, showing off a proud rooster. Chanticleer means a rooster. So hark, hark means he says silence, silence, and listen to. He is able to hear the crowing of the proud rooster who is crying, which is crying cock-a-doodle-doo. Now here Ariel follows this music of Ferdinand follows this music of the song that was sung by Ariel, and he is being directed by Ariel to a particular part of the island, because it was as per the plan of Prospero that Ariel and Ferdinand Ferdinand and Miranda should meet each other, and in fact he wanted them to fall in love with each other at the first sight. So that is how we meet with Ferdinand, who is all being left alone, mourns and thinks that he is the only survivor of the tempest, and he is in a melancholic mood because he is lamenting over the loss of his father. And it is at that particular moment that he is being directed, as instructed by Prospero, to a particular part of the island where he could meet with Miranda. And he is being directed by Ariel. He is following the song of the Ariel and moving into that particular direction where Prospero wanted him to be, though he is completely unaware of it. Okay. So we will be continuing from here in the Google Meet class. So in this video we do till this much. Thank you for watching, and stay blessed.